There's a moment in every life when you realize the universe isn't going to move until you do. You can wait, you can pray, you can dream, but until you stand up and make a move, everything stays floating in possibility, just like a quantum particle. It's everywhere and nowhere. It's this and that. It's frozen in the realm of maybe. That's where most people live, in the land of maybe. Waiting for a sign, waiting for permission, waiting for certainty. But here's the raw truth. Life doesn't begin when everything is sure. Life begins when you collapse the wave. And what does that mean? In quantum physics, a particle exists in multiple states. It's called superposition, until an observer steps in, until something is measured, until attention is given. And in that exact moment, the wave collapses. The infinite becomes finite. The maybe turns into a now. That's not just physics, that's a mirror. That's your life staring back at you. Your dreams, your talents, your potential, they're all floating in superposition. They all exist. Every version of you is real. The successful one, the broken one, the healed one, the confident one, the one who never took the risk. But which one will become your truth? That's on you. Not fate, not luck, not timing, not the economy. It's you. You are the observer. You are the catalyst. And if you don't make a move, your life stays stuck in the cloud of probabilities. You keep waking up in a maybe life. You keep hoping things will change, but energy doesn't move without intention. That's the law. Quantum mechanics isn't some distant science tucked into textbooks and labs. It's alive in every decision you do or don't make. Every second you hesitate, you leave your future undecided. And I know why you wait. You think time is on your side. You think clarity will come. You think the right door will swing open with no effort. But that's not how waves collapse. That's not how change happens. If you want the universe to move, you have to move first. You have to look at your fear and walk through it anyway. You have to stop asking what if and start asking what now. You have to stop reading books and start becoming the book someone else wants to read. Because here's what no one tells you. There's power in uncertainty. There's freedom in motion. That first step, the one you're scared of, that's the measurement. That's the collapse. That's the choice that brings one version of your life into reality and lets all the others fade away. And yes, that's terrifying, but it's also beautiful. You're not here to play safe. You're here to decide, to choose, to take this cloud of maybe and turn it into something real. You're not a spectator. You're a creator. You are not the result of what happens. You are the happening itself. When you move, everything shifts. The energy changes. The field rearranges. But it won't happen while you're sitting there hoping. You're not here to hope. You're here to collapse the wave. So let me ask you something real. What are you waiting for? A perfect plan? A clear path? A sign from above? You are the sign. You are the signal. And the longer you wait, the heavier the wave becomes. The longer you hesitate, the more your energy leaks into things that will never happen. You think standing still is safe, but it's the most dangerous thing you can do. Because when you stand still, the wave never collapses. The life you want stays behind the curtain. The door never opens. The light never turns on. And deep down, you know this. That voice in your chest, the one whispering for more, it's not lying. It's not crazy. It's the realest part of you. It's the part that remembers, the part that knows you're meant for more than existing. You're meant for living. And living begins at the edge of what you know, the edge of comfort, the edge of predictability. That's where the wave waits. That's where you meet your power. But first, you have to risk being seen. You have to risk not knowing. You have to stop rehearsing life and start performing it. Stop preparing and start becoming. Because that version of you, the one who makes the move, takes the leap, burns the bridge, that version isn't fantasy. It's quantum. It's already real. It's just waiting for you to collapse into it. The moment you choose, that version chooses you back. The second you commit, the energy lines up. But as long as you wait, the field stays silent. Your power stays locked. You can meditate, journal, vision board, but until you act, none of it collapses. You want reality to shift? Then shift. Step into the unknown. Make it known by walking through it. That's what observers do. That's what creators do. They don't wait to see, they see because they move. The observation is the birth. The decision is the beginning. So what will you decide today? You can live in superposition forever, half here, half gone. You can stay in the dream of someday until your life becomes a museum of never-started ideas and unopened doors. Or you can stop, right now, collapse the wave, pick one possibility and run with it like your soul depends on it, because it does. You're not chasing outcomes, you're choosing realities. And when you choose, you collapse time. You collapse the distance between who you are and who you could be. The past stops owning you. The future stops haunting you. It all merges into this moment, this sacred, electric now. That's where life is. That's where creation happens. Not tomorrow, not when you're ready, not when it's perfect. Now. And I get it. The mind wants to protect you. It whispers all the reasons to wait. What if I fail? What if it's the wrong path? What if I'm not enough? But here's the secret. The wave doesn't collapse because you're certain. It collapses because you're willing. Willing to risk. Willing to trust. Willing to act without knowing. That's where the real magic is. That's where new timelines are born. In the decision to stop waiting. In the courage to step in. The people who change their lives don't have more information, they just have more intention. They understand that potential is useless if you never collapse it. They don't chase confidence, they build it through action. And they know, deep down, that reality obeys the brave. So, if you've been sitting on the edge of your life, wondering when it will begin, this is it. This is your invitation to collapse the wave. Because the truth is, the version of you that you dream about isn't waiting for anything. That version already exists. But you won't meet them through overthinking. You won't meet them through perfection. You'll meet them the moment you move. Not when it makes sense, not when everyone understands, but when you finally decide that maybe isn't good enough anymore, that staying safe is costing too much, that floating in potential is killing your soul. You weren't born to almost live. You weren't born to almost love. You weren't born to almost become. You're here to land it, to lock it in, to pick a path and burn the bridge, because the universe doesn't respond to confusion. It responds to clarity. It mirrors commitment. It collapses for the bold. So collapse the wave. Make the choice. Take the step. Stop waiting. Life isn't hiding from you. It's waiting for you to look directly at it, to see it, to observe it. And in that moment, it crystallizes. It becomes real. The path opens. The door appears. The energy unlocks. That's the quantum law of becoming. You don't wait for the life you want. You collapse the wave and step into it.
The truth is, most people are stuck not because they don't have dreams, but because they don't know how to choose one. They live like energy stuck in superposition, pulled in 1,000 directions, trying to keep every option open, scared of closing the wrong door. And so nothing ever happens. They stay frozen, halfway between action and avoidance, passion and practicality, purpose and people-pleasing. But life doesn't reward indecision. Life rewards clarity. It rewards bold moves. The moment you collapse the wave, the moment you choose a direction and stop asking if it's the right one, that's when momentum begins. That's when time seems to stretch, when coincidences show up, when you feel the pull of something bigger than logic. And this isn't just some motivational speech. This is how energy works. This is how your brain works. In neuroscience, there's something called neuroplasticity, the ability for your brain to physically change based on what you focus on and repeat. When you make a decision and back it with action, new neural pathways are created. You literally build a new version of yourself, not through force, not through wishing, but through repetition and alignment. Just like in quantum physics, where observing a particle affects its state, your repeated focus and action create a new state of being. You begin to embody the life you want, not just visualize it, but live it. The problem is, most people want the feeling before they take the step. They want confidence before they try. They want peace before they let go. They want the results before they risk the failure. But that's not how transformation works. Action leads emotion. Decision precedes direction. Confidence is the child of commitment, not the other way around. If you're waiting to feel ready before you collapse your wave, you'll wait forever. The brain is designed to protect you. It's built for survival, not growth. It wants the predictable, the familiar, the safe. And every time you think about changing your life, whether it's starting a business, ending a toxic relationship, moving to a new city, speaking your truth, the brain freaks out. It floods your body with doubt, fear, hesitation. Not because the change is wrong, but because it's unknown. To the brain, unknown equals danger. But your soul knows better. Your soul speaks in vision, in feeling, in resonance. And every time you ignore that voice, every time you choose safety over soul, you dim your own light. You train yourself to settle, and slowly that gap between who you are and who you could be turns into regret. But it doesn't have to. You can change the script. You can train your mind to follow your soul. You can collapse the wave not by fighting fear, but by acting through it. Fear isn't the enemy. Indecision is. Fear is just energy. It's your body asking, are we safe? And you get to answer with action. You get to teach your brain that growth is safe, that risk is worthy, that moving forward doesn't mean dying, it means expanding. And every time you do, your brain rewires, your energy shifts. You go from being someone who waits to someone who decides. And that's when the world starts responding. That's when you see new opportunities, meet new people, feel new fire. Because energy matches energy. When you show up committed, life starts collapsing in your favor. And yes, it will still be messy. Yes, some days you'll want to run back, but don't. Don't trade your wave collapse for comfort. Don't trade your power for predictability. You were made to move mountains, not stare at them. Now let's bring it down to earth. Let's talk about what it actually looks like to collapse the wave in real life. It's not about massive leaps. It's about decisive moments, tiny daily acts of power. It's waking up and saying, I will move today, even if I'm afraid, even if I'm uncertain, even if I fail. It's writing the first page of the book you've been dreaming about. It's making the call you've been avoiding. It's applying for the job you don't feel ready for. It's saying yes to what expands you and no to what drains you. It's choosing one goal, one path, one version of you, and burning the bridge behind you. Because here's what no one talks about. Freedom doesn't come from keeping all your options. Freedom comes from choosing, from declaring, from collapsing the 1,000 maybes into one yes. And when you do, that version of you, the one who lives in alignment, begins to take over. Your thoughts shift, your energy sharpens. You no longer walk through life wondering. You start walking like you know. That's magnetic. That's when people feel your certainty, your calm, your edge. Not because everything is figured out, but because you've stopped waiting. You've stopped outsourcing your power. You've remembered you're the observer. And as the observer, you don't need proof. You create proof. You don't need signs. You become the sign. You don't wait for doors to open. You build the damn door. That's what collapsing the wave does. It turns you from a dreamer into a doer, from potential into presence, from maybe into manifestation. But let's go even deeper, because collapsing the wave isn't just about action. It's about identity. It's about stepping into the version of you who already is what you're trying to become. It's not just doing different things, it's becoming someone new. And that means letting go. Letting go of the stories that say you can't. Letting go of the fear that says you're not ready. Letting go of the version of you that got you here but can't take you there. That's the real collapse, the ego death, the identity shift, the deep soul-level release of the known. It hurts. It feels like dying, but it's actually birth. The birth of a truer you, a freer you, a version not limited by old timelines or traumas or doubts. And every time you act from that version, every time you speak like them, move like them, think like them, you collapse the wave a little more. You reinforce the reality you want until it becomes automatic, until it's not something you chase, it's something you are. That's when people start asking you what changed. That's when your world starts bending, not because you forced it, but because you finally aligned. That's the quantum way. That's the neuroscience of transformation. It's not magic, it's mechanics. It's biology, physics, and energy all working in harmony. And it's available to you right now. Not when you're better, not when you're healed, now. But only if you choose, only if you collapse the wave. So here's the challenge. What wave in your life needs collapsing? What decision are you postponing, hoping time will make it easier? What truth are you avoiding because you're afraid of its consequences? What version of you are you betraying just to keep the peace? Today, right now, you get to choose again. You get to collapse the old wave and birth a new one. You get to stop waiting and start walking. No, it won't be perfect. No, you won't have all the answers. But that's the point. The universe doesn't give you certainty. It gives you opportunity. And when you take it, when you say yes to the unknown, it says yes back. It meets your energy. It starts building with you. And piece by piece, the life you used to imagine becomes the life you wake up in. That's what's possible. Not someday, not maybe, now. If you're willing, if you're done playing small, if you're ready to stop floating in potential and start collapsing into purpose. So stand up, decide, step, repeat. That's how you collapse the wave. That's how you change your life. That's how you become everything you were always meant to be.
There comes a point when you can't keep explaining your hesitation anymore. You've read the books, watched the videos, listened to the podcasts, sat in rooms filled with vision boards and affirmations and dreams so big they make your chest ache. You've tasted what's possible, but knowing isn't the problem. Wanting isn't the problem. The real question is, when are you going to do something about it? When are you going to collapse the wave, not just in theory, but in your actual life? We keep talking about vibration and timelines and energy fields like they're separate from the ordinary, but they're not. That email you didn't send, that job you didn't apply for, that truth you didn't speak, that apology you didn't offer, that first step you keep waiting to be easier. That's the wave still uncollapsed. That's a reality waiting for you to choose it. And the longer you sit in hesitation, the more you convince yourself that you're stuck. But you're not stuck. You're just split. Your energy is fragmented. Some of it is still tied to who you used to be. Some of it is reaching toward who you want to be. And in between, that's where suffering lives. That in-between place where you dream but don't act, where you know but don't choose. That's the tension tearing you apart. And the only way out is to collapse. Pick a timeline, pick a version, pick a life, and then burn the rest. Not out of fear, not out of desperation, but out of love for the version of you who's been whispering, "Please don't abandon me again." Because the quantum field is real, but it doesn't respond to casual wishing. It responds to clarity. It responds to energy. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And if you're still living like someone who's waiting, hoping, maybe one daying your way through existence, the field reflects that back. So you get more waiting, more hoping, more maybe. You wake up each morning with a weight on your chest and no language to explain why. But it's not depression, it's suppression. You are suppressing your potential. You are living beneath your knowing. And your body feels that. Your soul feels that. That tension builds, and we call it anxiety. We call it burnout. We call it procrastination. But underneath all of it is this: you're not doing what you came here to do. And you know it. That's why you're still listening. That's why you still care. Because something inside you remembers. It remembers the version of you who wasn't scared,
who didn't shrink, who didn't need permission, who moved because movement was the only honest thing left to do. That version isn't dead. That version is dormant. But you wake them up the moment you decide that your life is worth the risk. And yes, it's a risk, because collapsing the wave means killing every other version of your life, every backup plan, every safety net, every part of you that says, but what if this doesn't work? And that's terrifying, but it's also sacred. That's what faith really is, not hoping it'll all turn out, but choosing to believe that whatever comes, you'll figure it out, because you trust you, because you're no longer outsourcing your worth to outcomes. You're no longer trying to control every variable. You're collapsing the wave by becoming the one thing you can control, your decision to begin. And beginning doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It just means you're tired of standing still. It means you're ready to take one step, just one, into the unknown. It means you're willing to meet your future halfway. And in that space, something sacred happens. Time bends. People show up. Resources appear. The universe rushes to meet you because it finally knows what you want. Not because you said it, but because you showed it. With your action, with your energy, with your choice. That's the signal. That's the measurement. That's the collapse. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a decision. You don't need every answer. You need movement. Think about light. In quantum physics, light is both a particle and a wave until it's observed, until someone decides to look. Then suddenly it becomes one or the other. It takes shape. It responds to attention. Your life is no different. Your light, your energy, your potential waiting to be observed by you. And until you choose, you stay scattered, you stay unseen, you stay in waveform waiting for a moment that never comes. But what if you are that moment? What if everything shifts not when the world changes, but when you do? When you finally say, I've had enough of floating. I want form. I want structure. I want my life to become something real. That declaration is everything. That's when the light bends in your favor. That's when the frequency changes. Because now you're not waiting for life to happen. You're happening to life. And here's the thing. People will doubt you. Your old self will fight you. The world will test you. That's normal. That's part of the process. But tests don't come to destroy you. They come to refine you. They come to ask, how bad do you want this? And if your answer is weak, the wave reverts. The field stays foggy. But if your answer is solid, if your energy says, I'm not backing down, then everything begins to align. Maybe not all at once, maybe not the way you pictured, but piece by piece, life bends. You meet the people, you get the message, you feel the shift. And it all started the moment you chose to collapse the wave. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, just fully, with your whole heart. That's what the universe honors. That's what creates momentum. That's how timelines shift, not by magic, but by meeting life with such raw, honest action that reality has no choice but to shift around you. So if you're still waiting for a sign, this is it. If you're still waiting for permission, this is it. If you're still waiting for proof, this is it. The proof is in the physics. The truth is in your energy. And the moment you choose, you change. Not gradually, not eventually, instantly. At the level of frequency, at the level of identity. And from there, the rest is just alignment, just repetition, just continuing to walk the path you finally chose. So breathe, not the shallow kind of breath that keeps you alive. Breathe like someone who just decided to live. Inhale as if it's the first time. Exhale everything that no longer belongs. Let it all fall. The doubt, the timelines, the excuses, the fear. Let it collapse. Let it go. And when the dust clears, what remains will be you, the real you, the one who finally realized that the power was never in the waiting. It was always in the choosing. the collapsing, the becoming. So, become, move, speak, act. Not because it's easy, not because you're ready, but because you're done floating, done rehearsing, done watching the wave dance above your head while your life stays unfinished. It's time. You've known it for a while. You felt it. So now you choose. You collapse. And in that collapse, you rise. Over and over again.